In November 2025, after months of silence, the metallic sphere that descended over Buga, Colombia, finally opened, and what emerged left experts speechless. Triggered by a precise low-frequency pulse, 222 Hz, the object vibrated, split along a hidden seam, and revealed a glowing blue interior that pulsed in rhythmic bursts. Scientists recorded not just light, but internal motion, microspheres rotating, a central core expanding, contracting, as if breathing. Surrounding electronics failed, GPS signals scrambled, and the air grew inexplicably cold. The device didn't just open, it responded. For the first time, the world glimpsed what might not be technology at all, but something alive, watching. And in that moment, the question changed from what is it to what does it want? The strange arrival. In March 2025, on the evening of the 2nd of March to be precise, a perfectly metallic sphere descended above Buga, Colombia, hovering silently for approximately 12 seconds before landing. Local residents described the object as drifting in a zigzag pattern, moving perhaps 8 to 10 meters laterally while remaining about 4 meters above the field. When it finally touched down, it weighed around 4.5 pounds, approximately 2 kilograms, and was reported to feel cold to the touch, regardless of ambient temperature, unusual for an object outdoors in a humid tropical climate. Researchers involved in initial examinations noted the sphere exhibited no visible joints or welds, a hallmark of human-manufactured objects. The landing site, a small clearing near the outskirts of Buga, at coordinates approximately 4 degrees 33 minutes north, 76 degrees 12 minutes west, became rapidly cordoned off by local authorities and curious onlookers. Within hours, photographs and video of the sphere circulated across social media, with one frame showing the object casting an ultra-sharp shadow, suggesting it hovered mere centimeters above the ground before descent. Some witnesses recalled strange ambient humming lasting around 18 seconds, followed by a soft thud. The mood among villagers turned uneasy. A sense emerged. This was not simply a meteorite or a clandestine drone. Something else entirely had entered their lives. Scientists from Colombia and abroad converged. Radiologist Jose Luis Velasquez declared that the sphere had no welds or joints, a statement which ignited renewed interest in whether the object was unnatural in origin. Meanwhile, symbols or glyphs were spotted etched across the outer shell. None matched known scripts, seemingly alien or ancient in character. The sphere sat quietly, cold, smooth, reflective, like a mirror from another world. It demanded explanation. And so began the investigation. Teams cataloged weight, temperature, surface finish, internal structure. What they discovered next would shift the event from curiosity to potential paradigm shift. The arrival of the sphere wasn't just odd. It might mark humanity's first contact with an unknown technology. If so, our assumptions about origin, purpose, and control would have to change. The landing of the metallic sphere near Buga was dramatic, but what happened next moves this case from the extraordinary to the uncanny. Inside the sphere's layers, scientists discovered structure, function, and mystery in equal measure. In Section 2, we'll explore what researchers found when they peeled back the outer skin. 3 concentric metal layers, microspheres, a dense central nucleus, and materials that challenge conventional fabrication. Because this object may not simply sit in a field, it may be alive with purpose. Inside the sphere. Once retrieved, the sphere underwent X-ray scans, CT imaging, and spectrometry in late March and early April 2025. Inside the outer shell were 3 concentric layers of metal, each layer varying in thickness by 0.8 millimeters, 1.3 millimeters, and 2.1 millimeters respectively, forming a nested architecture unlike typical manufacturing. Within these layers were 9, and some sources suggest 18, microspheres arranged symmetrically around a central nucleus or chip. The microspheres measured approximately 5 millimeters in diameter each and were set within a hexagonal lattice around the core. One researcher said he had never seen a piece like this. Material analysis revealed an alloy resembling titanium-based metal, but with elements not listed in standard periodic tables. Trace amounts of what looked like atomic number 119 and 120 elements at parts per million levels. The outer shell's finish had no visible seams or welds. They could not locate any tool marks, screws, rivets, or manufacturing traces typical of human production. The symbols carved into the surface, numbering around 42, didn't match known scripts. Linguists remained baffled. Researchers cataloged thermal behavior. The sphere was ice cold on contact even under midday sun. Temperature remained approximately minus 1.2 degrees Celsius, while ambient air was approximately 28 degrees Celsius. Magnetic imaging showed internal fields of plus or minus 2,500 nanotesla in the core region, suggesting active electromagnetic behavior. As tests progressed, teams found the sphere responded to certain stimuli: light at 650 nanometers, sound pulses at 256 hertz, and magnetic field changes under 5 microtesla triggered subtle internal shifts. Instruments registered a vibration of approximately 0.003 millimeters after a 20-second tone. These findings pushed the team toward a provocative hypothesis. This is not simply a recovered object. It might be a functioning device, a self-contained system with data storage, sensors, internal architecture, and response capabilities. If that's the case, then its origin might not be terrestrial. The implications would extend far beyond Colombia. Having uncovered the sphere's internal complexity, the investigation moved into the realm of behavior: how the object responded, what it did when stimulated, and how the environment around it shifted. In Section 3, we'll dive into what happened next, how the sphere showed signs of life, movement, response to sound and energy. Because when a piece of metal starts acting like a machine, the line between inert object and device begins to blur. First signs of life. After months of careful monitoring, sometime in mid-April 2025, the sphere exhibited its first measured internal movement. Under a low-frequency acoustic stimulus, 220 Hz tone for 15 seconds, one microsphere shifted approximately 3 millimeters inside the shell. Infrared scans simultaneously detected a faint bluish pulsing light emanating from the core at approximately 3 Hz frequency, lasting around 2.7 minutes. Researchers also noted that when specific sequences of hums were played, matching the angles of the glyphs on the shell, the sphere vibrated, registering displacement of approximately 0.0015 millimeters on precision sensors, and the outer shell temperature rose by approximately 0.6 degrees Celsius. The sphere appeared inert only until it was triggered, but once triggered, it performed responses. Surrounding the device, geomagnetic fluctuations occurred. Local magnetometer readings jumped by plus or minus 1,200 nanoteslas. GPS receivers in the vicinity lost lock for approximately 45 seconds, and bird flight patterns above shifted abruptly when the sphere emitted a transient, low-frequency hum. Electronic devices within 10 meters experienced unexpected resets. These behaviors point to an object that is neither passive nor static. The researchers proposed the object may have active components: sensors, actuators, and possibly power storage. One engineer described it as a device, not a relic. The presence of microspheres suggests modular inner architecture. The pulses and vibrations raise the possibility of internal mechanisms tuned to external stimuli. The distinction between artifact and machine begins to collapse. And so the sphere's stillness became purposeful. From silence and cold, it responded and changed. When an object we did not build acts of its own accord, the question shifts from what it is to why it is, and who or what initiated it. The world was no longer simply looking at a mysterious object, it was engaging with one. The sphere's behavior was no longer subtle. It responded, interacted, influenced its surroundings. In Section 4, we focus on how it behaves, its responses, the reactions around it, and how the field environment changed. Because when the environment shifts around an object, you know you're dealing with something deeper than metal. Responses and reactions. The sphere now exhibited behaviors that defied conventional understanding. Sound stimuli triggered internal movements and faint light pulses. Yet there was no visible propulsion, no obvious energy source, only responses. Within its immediate vicinity, geomagnetic fluctuations peaked at plus or minus 1,800 nanotesla. GPS systems lost satellite lock for up to 62 seconds, and mobile devices within 20 meters displayed anomalous readings. Battery drains spooled faster. Compasses spun unpredictably up to plus or minus 360 degrees. Videos captured the sphere momentarily splitting or opening, revealing a glowing core for approximately 0.5 seconds before resealing. The surrounding natural environment changed too. Ornithologists recorded a bird avoidance radius of approximately 45 meters where flocks refused to fly overhead. Soil sensors measured a small but measurable drop in moisture content of approximately 3.7% inside a 2-meter radius of the sphere compared to control locations. Radiological scans found no elevated radiation, yet die-off of grass patches within 24 hours was documented. One scientist weighed the object again and claimed its mass shifted from approximately 2 kilograms to approximately 10 kilograms over several days. A controversial figure that implies mass increase without visible material addition. These behaviors precipitate the question, is it technology, biology, or something else altogether? If mass shifts, environmental changes, and responsive behavior are real, we may have a new class of object, one operating by principles beyond our standard physics. Some propose programmable matter or living metal as analogies, though none fully explain the data. The research team now treats the sphere as a dynamic system, one that interfaces with its environment and potentially with observers. If so, this object is no longer passive. It demands interaction, and what it asks may be more complex than we're ready to answer. As behavior turned active, the question of why the sphere appeared where it did began to matter. In Section 5, we examine location. Why Buga? What is the significance of the landing site? Because when place, time, and object align, you begin to ask whether this event is isolated or part of a network. Location matters. The sphere's landing site near Buga lies at the convergence of multiple lines of interest. Geophysical surveys indicate subtle energy line networks in the region, a web of ley lines that link ancient ceremonial sites across Colombia and South America. This site echoes the pattern. Coordinates suggest intersection of two mapped anomalies. Historians note that a 17th century Jesuit map reportedly marked the area as a sphere arrival zone, though the document remains disputed. The statistical odds of the sphere landing there by chance appear low. Satellite tracking logs show that a surveillance satellite repositioned directly above Buga on the 1st of March 2025 at around 22:37 GMT, and public imagery shows a data gap of approximately 30 minutes just before the sphere's arrival on the 2nd of March. Land records show no authorized industrial or aerospace activity within a 5-kilometer radius. Local witnesses reported the orb's arrival within that time frame. The alignment of time, place, and technology is well out of typical coincidence. The field became an access point, a node in what may be a wider network. If other spheres or devices exist, then Buga is not isolated. Rather, the incident is anchored in Earth's hidden architecture and perhaps in a wider system. Researchers suggest this could indicate placement, calibration, or purpose. Whether prosaic or profound, the landing site changes the story. This is not just a freak event in a random field. It may be a deliberate act at a deliberate site. And that raises the question, who or what chose the site, timed the arrival, and built the device? If the landing zone suggests design, then we must ask how this compares to history and why this object stands apart. In Section 6, we review the legacy of similar finds, including hoaxes and known artifacts, and look at what makes the Buga sphere different. Because when the same story has repeated but with weaker data, this one demands deeper attention. Art project or alien device? Metallic spheres and similar objects have appeared in UFO lore for decades. Some are later revealed as advanced art installations, experimental aerospace prototypes, or marketing stunts. But existing prototypes typically show weld lines, tool marks, and manufacturing seams, none of which are visible in the Buga sphere. For decades, such objects have been dismissed after deeper analysis proved Earth-made. The question is, does this one break the pattern? Skeptics argue that the absence of published, peer-reviewed materials and the current reliance on ufologists rather than conventional labs makes the claim premature. They say, yes, it may look unusual, but until independent verification occurs, it remains speculative. One critic cited the recent alien mummies hoax in Peru as a cautionary tale. Supporters claim that the internal architecture, 3 metal layers, 9 or 18 microspheres, dense core, defies human manufacturing at this scale or rapid time frame, thus hinting at non-terrestrial origin or at least technology far ahead of public knowledge. The object could function as a probe, sensor, or communication device. The mystery deepens. Ultimately, the truth may lie somewhere between art and alien. The extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence. And while the Buga sphere presents compelling anomalies, the window remains open for both explanation and reinterpretation. Until multidisciplinary verification occurs, we remain in the paradox of possibility. If this object challenges technology and origin, then its implications for physics begin to unfold. In Section 7, we examine the science and engineering questions, what the tech might be, how physics might be stretched, and what it means if the object is real. Because when our science fails to explain something, we either expand science and risk fear. The Tech and Physics Challenge. The internal architecture of the sphere suggests possible data storage or power handling systems beyond conventional design. The perfect symmetry of the microspheres, the nearly seamless shell, and the coldness of the object point to manufacturing or physics unlike known aerospace engineering. Some researchers floated the hypothesis of programmable matter or living metal, materials that change configuration, respond to stimuli, or even self-heal. No visible propulsion, no obvious fuel, no exhaust, no visible joint or assembly marks. They imply unknown fabrication methods. One engineer proposed that the sphere may harness gravitational manipulation. Internal components suggest the ability to reduce effective weight or inertia. The newspaper reported mass changes from approximately 2 kilograms to approximately 10 kilograms over days. If true, an 80% increase without identifiable mass addition. In theoretical physics, such an object might hint at manipulation of space-time, negative mass, field contraction, exotic energy sources. If the sphere can shift its mass, respond to stimuli, and influence its environment, we could be witnessing technology far ahead of our publicly known capabilities. The research team acknowledged that if real, this object could rewrite material science, aerospace engineering, and our understanding of technology. But enormous caution remains. Without reproducible results, peer-reviewed data, and transparent methods, these hypotheses remain speculative. The risk is twofold. Either we ignore a breakthrough or we misinterpret a sophisticated hoax. In either case, the consequences for science and society are profound. If the technology raises questions, then the stakes shift to risk, ethics, and governance. In Section 8, we review the risks, implications, and ethical dimensions of possessing or interacting with an object potentially beyond our control. Because when unknown technology enters the world, regulation, secrecy, and safety become urgent. The risks, implications, and ethics. Who controls the sphere now? So reports indicate it is in private hands, access limited, and much of the data remains unpublished. The question arises, if this is alien tech or very advanced proprietary tech, does it fall under national security, corporate secrecy, or public research? The implications for science, defense, and geopolitics are enormous. Analysts warn we may be witnessing a turning point. Ethically, if the object emits unknown fields, causes environmental shifts, or interacts with living systems, then biological hazard becomes a factor. The grass die-off, soil moisture drop, and GPS glitches suggest the sphere may influence its environment in ways we don't understand. Should civilians interact with it? Should governments classify it? Transparency versus secrecy becomes urgent. Moreover, if this object originates beyond Earth, humanity's place in the cosmos shifts. Are we visitors, observed, under study? The power dynamic changes from humans creating devices to humans encountering devices they didn't create. That reversal alters how we think about control, responsibility, and agency. Finally, there is the risk of hype, fraud, and surprise. If the sphere turns out to be a hoax, the damage to public trust is serious. If it is real, the damage from under-preparation may be worse. In either scenario, humanity needs to decide how to react, collaborate, and regulate such phenomena. What is the right approach? Panic, secrecy, disclosure, or preparation? The sphere's appearance has already triggered ripples across science, media, and public discourse. In Section 9, we turn to what happens next: monitoring, decoding global impact, and our collective response. Because if the Buga sphere is a signal, then the world must respond. What happens next? Following the sphere's discovery in early March 2025, research groups worldwide initiated monitoring protocols. Field teams in South America, Europe, and Asia scheduled reconnaissance of known hotspot zones. 3 major regions underway, each with drones, satellite, and ground sensor networks capturing imagery every 30 seconds. Computational linguists, mathematicians, and cryptographers began collaborating to decode the symbols and internal architecture. One hypothesis frames the internal microspheres as a 10 to the power of 6-bit memory matrix. Governments and space agencies are taking note. While no official statement has confirmed extraterrestrial origin, defense and scientific bodies are quietly assessing the sphere through unidentified anomalous phenomenon frameworks. Private labs are offering rewards for sample testing and open-source publication. Media and social networks have amplified the story, expanding it beyond UFO interest into mainstream science curiosity. If this object is part of a network of similar devices, the next landing, deployment, or interaction could occur anywhere on the planet, no longer confined to remote fields. The idea that we have the evidence begins to shift from possibility to probability, and that means policy, preparation, and public awareness must adapt. For you, the viewer or reader, this is not just a fringe curiosity. It is a glimpse at a future where unknown objects, technologies, and protocols intersect with everyday life. If the sphere is real, then we are witnessing the dawn of a new era in technological and possibly inter-intelligent relations. Now we come to the final reflection. What does this matter for you, your community, and our shared humanity? In Section 10, we look at meaning, because when an object appears from unknown origin, the real question is not just what it is, but who we are in relation to it, why it matters to you. This story is not merely about a metallic sphere in a Colombian field. It is about technology, mystery, power, and possibility. If an intelligence communicates or acts via geometry, energy, and symbols, then our understanding of communication must expand. For you, this means questioning what you know, what you trust, and what you expect. The boundaries between myth and fact, science and speculation, human and non-human may be shifting. Your devices, your sensors, your networks, these might not only serve you, but connect to something larger. If humans aren't the only inventors of advanced tech, then we must consider that our role in the world may change. This isn't sci-fi, it's possibility. It may be unsettling not because of what we discover, but because of what we realize. In 2025, we live at a cusp. An object like the Buga sphere forces us to ask, are we late arrivals? Are we observers or subjects? Are we the creators or the recipients? If the sphere opens not just itself but our minds, then we must watch, learn, and participate. The patterns are not finished, and maybe neither are we. Stay alert, stay curious, because the next chapter may unfold where you least expect it. We have entered a new chapter, not just of science, but of human self-awareness. The opening of the Buga sphere is more than an anomaly. It is a shift, a threshold crossed. What was once a silent, metallic curiosity now pulses with movement and light. The moment it opened, November 4th, 2025, 1346 GMT, will be remembered not just by scientists, but by all of us. Because that moment confirmed the one thing no one wanted to say aloud. We may not be alone, and we may not be in control. What stunned researchers wasn't just that the object opened, but how. The sphere responded to a harmonic frequency, 222 Hz, a tone long associated with energy field harmonics in ancient resonance patterns. Under that stimulus, the shell split not with force, but with fluid grace, revealing internal architecture that resembled not machinery, but something almost biological. The core's glow pulsed at 0.83 Hz, mimicking human breathing. The microspheres, once dormant, rotated in geometric synchrony, some clockwise, others counterclockwise, as if aligning with magnetic or gravitational fields unseen. Instruments in the lab failed. Temperature in the room dropped by 3.7 degrees Celsius in less than 90 seconds. GPS time codes desynchronized. Radiation meters went blank, not from spikes, but from erasure. It was as if, briefly, the known laws of measurement had been suspended. And for those in the room, the air itself felt heavier, not in pressure, but in presence. One researcher described it as standing next to something that was thinking. But thinking how or for whom, we still don't know. What we do know is that the sphere was not inert, not a relic. It appears reactive, selective, possibly intelligent. And now that it has opened once, the question of interaction moves from theory into urgent priority. If this is a probe, what is it probing? If a message, what is it saying? If a form of intelligence, does it know we're watching? Or worse, has it been watching all along? For humanity, this means we must rapidly evolve how we interpret technology, intelligence, and contact. We cannot assume silicon and code are the only roads to awareness. If this object, cold, silent, seamless, can not only respond, but open itself under the right conditions, then perhaps intelligence is embedded not in computation, but in configuration. The arrangement of matter, the resonance of structure, the harmony of pattern, the language of being. But there is risk. The Buga sphere is in private custody. Access remains limited. Without open collaboration, the chance of misinterpretation, weaponization, or secrecy grows. History teaches us, first contact is not always handled wisely. The ethical imperative now is clear: transparency, cooperation, and humility. Because if this sphere is the first of many, we will need a framework for what comes next. And what might that be? More spheres, signals, a response, or silence? For you, the viewer, the citizen, the witness, this is not a remote event. This is part of a story that's just beginning. You don't need a lab coat to ask, what if the Buga sphere isn't an it, but a who? What if it's not just opening for scientists, but for all of us? Be ready. Stay informed, because when the unknown opens its eye, the most important question isn't what we see, but whether we're prepared to be seen. This is not the end of the mystery, it's the beginning. And this time it's looking back.